that's why meditation can, I mean, just sitting and watching the breath can get you can do body transport. I mean, the Jewish mystics knew a long time ago there are 4 things that can happen to you when you start to go on the path. Because when you really get deep, your soul leaves your body. Or you go so deep in that you're not just here. Well, your body's still sitting there. But, I mean, when Muhammad got a surah, it was like his eyes would roll up into his head, and he would be sitting there and people would be with him, and he'd just like check out. It was because he exited and he heard the voice of the One. And then he would come back and they would say, well, where did you go? Well, it's like, that's just an example. But there are 4 possibilities. You go out, and you go out there and you stay a while, and you come back and you're on the dark side. That's the Darth Vader option. And, you know, you can go awry. At Bhagwan Shri, I mean, anybody, anytime. It's always, you have to always watch. Because
I call them spiritual predators.
Well, but it doesn't start out that way at all. It just, they go out.
You mentioned Bhagwan?
Bhagwan Shri Rajneesh. That's an example, but there are others. They go out and they're doing serious spiritual work. And they get out there and they meet the spirits. But then they just go, and then when they come back, the shadow is big, or whatever you want to call it. The Etzer Hara, that's what the Jewish tradition called the mystical, the evil tendency. Everybody has it. Etzer Hara. You can also go out, and you stay out, and you don't come back. And that's why you had to do this, because you were almost ready to go out and not come back. This is what happened to Nietzsche. He was so deep in producing everything. And then that day in Italy, he went out and he lost it. And he started saying he was the Pope, and he was kissing the horses in the street. And they took him to his mother's house, and he was just babbling incoherent. And the last 10 years of his life, he lay in the bed slobbering. Well, the guy who started, Rudolf Steiner, who started a kind of the gates of spiritual science, very interesting German person. He went to visit Nietzsche right before he died in the year 1899, 1900. And he was able to see people's souls, really. He said, I saw Nietzsche's soul. It was way out in space. And he was still physically alive because it was connected back to his body with a tiny, thin cord. But he saw the soul like thousands of miles away off the earth. So Nietzsche went.
He chose to let his mind go.
Nietzsche just chose to go.
Because you have a choice in the matter.
Everybody knows what they are doing.
Yes, I believe even before you die, you allow your soul to leave your body.
No. Everything is the product of the flow of events, which are conscious and unconscious, but consciousness does create reality. So Nietzsche chose to go so deep, and he was getting really, I mean, the stuff he was writing at the end was so adventurous. I mean, the Antichrist, Beyond Good and Evil, serious. You know, faith is an act of delusion. And he wrote that in like 1889. So that was not very processable for most people. But now we know, people dupe themselves, and they call it faith. Even the ones who have authentic faith.
Yes.
So he saw everything, and he was all by himself. And he went out, and so he stayed physically alive, but he was really just out there. And anybody at any time, when you start to go out, you have to, if you want to go out and stay out, you're going to stay out, but you'll physically die. Because you'll stay out, and your body will just die.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But there's another one is that you can go out, and you don't become evil, but you come back, and you're insane.
Personality
disorder. You can't talk to people. You're just incoherent. Now, that's like the schizophrenic. The people walking around homeless who are talking to themselves, they're talking to the spirits. They're just gone, except they're in the body.
Yes.
And the fourth one You go out and come in, and you stay coherent, and you're functional, but you can go out whenever you like, you come back whenever you like. But you wake up in the morning, and then, you know, you brush your teeth, and you go to your job, and you raise your family.
You integrate the two.
Or you just, but every time you sit down, you can go out and come back. So those are the 4 options. Coherence and sanity is only 1 out of 4. Death immediately is 1 out of 4. Total evil is 1 out of 4.
That's so
well.
scary to think about.
Well, that's why being friends with your shadow helps you, because if you're not friends with your shadow, then it takes you over. Jung wrote, you should read Jung on the shadow. You should find this woman. She's a Jungian person. Influenced by Jung, but anything by her you will find useful. But you should write stuff down. You need to be the one writing and reading and writing stuff. You're the teacher. Do you understand? You're the teacher. The learning is always mutual, and the possibilities are both vast, but maintaining an ability to communicate effectively with other earthlings. You have to stay grounded, because it's so easy for the soul to want to get out and stay out, because its real home is both here and everywhere and nowhere all at once.